woke up this morning, what was the first thing you did? Can you still remember the very first motion that you did? Some of you probably got out of your bed, switched on the light, because probably you had the curtains all covered up in your room and it was still dark. Or perhaps you were waken up by the glare of the sun because it was too bright and it was shining in your bed. Well, don't you wish that sometimes you would be waken up, while you're still in bed, you would be waken up by the aroma of freshly brewed coffee without having to get out of bed? That somebody would be doing that for you and you'll just be staying there lying down in bed and then you just walk out of bed when you feel like it and then coffee would be ready for you? Well, the theme of my project for today is about the intelligent home. What is the intelligent home? It is all about this so-called automated systems. We are so much into technology right now that it influences the way we build our houses or the way we design our houses. I'll start off with 3 points in my building. If I could let you see my model here. Well, my building centers around 3 major parts. First, the brain. Next, the heart. And lastly, the body. Just like human beings, we have the brain, the heart, and the body. Now, what is the brain of my building? Looking at this layout here, this is the central or the core of my building. This is the brain of the building because this is where you control everything. Starting from, first of all, your ordinary lighting panel area. I'm sure all of you are pretty much familiar with where the switches are or your major panels. But I'd like to talk about first the major features of this building, what it can do for you. It can do, firstly, adjust scene lighting. What do I mean by scene lighting? It means that, for example, you and your family, this is a residence, are staying here in this family room and you have your entertainment system there, you wanted to watch a movie. Naturally, you would want to dim the lights. For example, it's nighttime. You would want to dim the lights in your kitchen and the rest of the surrounding areas of your family room so that you would have a nice ambience for watching the movie. How do you do that? You have this control system here. This, basing from your lighting panel, it would be attached to a relay panel which controls the dimming or the lighting system in that area. It would sense that once you turn on your VCR, it would sense that you're about to watch a movie, so it slowly dims the light. But it's not abrupt. Just like in the movies, when you enter, don't you notice that when you enter a movie theater, don't you notice that the lighting is the adjustment in lighting is so slight that you hardly notice it? Because our eyes need to adjust first to the certain transition in lighting. Otherwise, if it's so abrupt, it would hurt our eyes. So that's what would happen in that adjustable scene lighting system for the house. Nextly, another feature of this house is that we would have pathway lighting. Now this would come in handy just in case this house, this single-family residence, would be set on fire, accidentally or intentionally. So what do I mean by pathway lighting? Once the house senses that it's on fire, based on your home control system here, automatically all the lights here, there would be lights at the sides of this pathway or hallway, as well as the bridgeway. It would automatically turn on. And that would be your guide towards your exit, your nearest exit. Next, another feature of this house is that it would have the dimming controls, which I mentioned already, which is connected to the adjustable scene lighting system that we have in the family room. And it also features this keychain remote control. What do I mean by keychain remote control? I'm sure all of you carry keychains with you. It means that you could control all the systems in this house with just your keychain. So there would be a transmitter located at the garage, which is this part. And this is the keychain actually that you would be taking along with you. Now this keychain has a transmitter radius of 100 feet. So as you carry that with you, you don't need to switch your lights. You don't need to walk down the hallway to turn on and off your switches. You just push a button with your keychain remote control and everything will be done for you. Nextly, another feature of this house is that it has soft on and on, which adjusts, what do I mean by soft on and on? It turns on all the lights again, adjusting it to the level of reflection or illumination within the house. So it notices, the house actually senses what time of day it is. If it's early morning or if it's at sunset, it adjusts the level of illumination for the house according to what time of day. Another feature of the house is that this control system is also connected to louvers that I designed for the house, which is located in this side, and which you could see here in my section. Now these mechanized louvers actually follow the movement of the sun. So they protect the house from excessive exposure to the sun as it follows the direction or the movement of the sun. And another feature of the intelligent home that I call is that it helps you move along your house without having to literally walk. What do I mean by without having literally to walk? You would be having monitors at every section of the house, so you could detect where your children are. For example, this house, I have to mention to you, is also a home office. This is the house, and this is the home office. This is the architect studio. My clients are both architects. They wanted to have a home office for their practice. Now, you wanted to locate where your children are, as I mentioned. You would be having monitors at strategic points in your house. Probably one in the kitchen, one in the living room, and one in the master bedroom. And that way, you would be able to monitor where your children are. If, for example, you're in the studio doing your major projects there. Now, that centers around the brain of the building. Those are the home control systems. I'd like to talk about next, what I'd like to talk about next is the heart of the building. What gives spirit to a building? I believe that architects are the ones giving the spirit to the building. Now, how did I achieve giving a certain spirit to the building? I tried to achieve that by integrating a special kind of spatial experience as you are in the building. So if you enter the building from the foyer, for example, this is your drive up. Coming from this direction, you drive this driveway. This is the parking for the home office here, and this would be your private drive. So as you enter my house, you enter through a foyer. But it's not just your ordinary foyer, because when you stand here, this portion are all glass or glazing. It opens up your eyes to spectacular views of the site. So if you would look at this model, this portion is that portion, and these open up to spectacular views this side. Now, not only that, but if you look to your left side, you would be having this circulation space that bisects the whole plan or your whole house. Now, this circulation space acts as a bisecting element as well as a uniting element. Now, that kind of dichotomy actually influenced the whole design or my whole design approach. Now, if you look at the second floor plan, this whole bridgeway actually connects from the master bedroom directly to the principal's office. Now, why did I do that? Because my clients, who are both architects, normally are very temperamental. They're very moody, that ideas or designs don't come to them every morning. Sometimes they would have this spectacular idea in the middle of the night. And for them to be able to put that in paper, they need to draw that right away. Otherwise, they would totally forget it. So that's why I connected a bridgeway directly from the master bedroom to the principal's office. And also, as you walk along this bridgeway, it takes advantage of the views again in this side, which is this part of the site, this part. So if you're walking in the bridgeway, you're opening up yourself again to spectacular views. And lastly, what is the body of the building? Now, the materials that I used for the building make up the body of the building. What types of materials did I use? I used a lot of concrete, metal, and glass. Now, in this area, which is located in Palmdale, California, which is 60 miles away from Los Angeles, I tried to incorporate a certain system using concrete foundation. You would see that here in this section. This is what I would call a downhill frame. Because this area is high in seismic activity, I tried incorporating that type of foundation to it. Now, what do I mean by downhill frame? Downhill frame actually is a frame laid on the original slope of the building. As you can see, that my site is really has really a steep slope, especially in this side. So what they do is, in a downhill frame, they lay the frame directly on the unchanged slope, and then they put drilled piers, which will be shown here, which you can see there, and that anchors the whole building. Now also for the glass system, you might be asking, in an earthquake situation, normally the first ones to burst or to break are the glass. Now I'm using a certain type of glass installation system which they call the planar system. The planar system is actually the attainment of a flush exterior structural glass, which you can see here in my perspective. Everything is flush. You can't see any structural features, especially this section also. Everything is flush, and what happens is the load is transmitted to countersunk holes in the window, and that helps carry the load of the building. And these are used highly in areas such as San Francisco, which have high seismic activity. Now lastly, when we design houses, or normally architects get the opportunity during their early career to design a house. Some architects design houses which are mostly all what we call just all brick, and they call that what they call the cookie cutter houses. Architects design houses with all just materials or all body. No other thing is incorporated. They call it cookie cutter houses. And sometimes some architects design houses which are just all hard or purely artistic, and they become overly indulgent. And sometimes architects design houses which are purely technology, and they end up calling it technocrat. But my house includes the brain, the heart, and the body, thereby making it an intelligent. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, you said it's in a seismic zone near 4. What happens if there is an earthquake 7.5 Richter scale and the house survives because it's engineered to survive? The power lines are cut and the solar batteries are broken. What happens when the brain is down?
Now the brain won't be down because you would have reserve power. There is this genset that's also included in the mechanical system, which is located right beside the AHU. Now when power is off, just like in an ordinary intelligent building, when there's no natural electrical source, you would have emergency power, which is the genset. And that's the one that's going to power your house.